So hello everyone, welcome to all of you in my lecture today. If you have not subscribed my channel, just go and subscribe my channel and don't forget to click on the bell icon because to get the notification of the incoming video. Okay. Now today in this lecture I am going to discuss about the control system strategy. Okay. So before going to discuss, I am going to give you the basic things that why we need a control system strategy. If you will see in the industry, each and every time, just try to understand if the breakdown has occurred somewhere else. Okay, so if you will see, each and every time it will be very difficult to go there in the plant and to see where the breakdown had occurred, and it will take a huge time or it will take a huge number of manpowers to control all these things. Okay, so engineers have discovered to alleviate this problem, engineers has developed a control assembly that is called as the control system, and from the control system we can identify in which place or in which system the breakdown has occurred and how we can easily control that thing. Okay, so from there we can save our both the manpower and our time to modify the process or to alleviate the problem inside the process. Okay, so that breakdown can be renovated very easily. No, so that was the that's why we required a control strategy in our industrial application. Now understand one thing: if we are going to understand the control strategy, then which types of thing that we have to understand here. So first, if you will see component. Component of the control system. Now understand one thing, my dear friend. If you are going to study about the control system, then definitely you need to understand which things or which types of component that is working in the control system, so that we have to focus on that particular part to control the process. So first component is our process itself. You can say second component is controller, and third component is our final control element, and our fourth component is measuring instrument. This is not in order. Only I have written to show which types of things that is going to be used in the control system. What is the component? What are the components of the control system? Now understand one thing. Process. I will be discussing the four component of the control system in the concerned way, in each and everything in the concerned way. You don't have to focus on you don't have to be panic. Now, first I will start from the process, because if you have a process, then you will be controlling that process. Now if you won't having process any process, then why we will use the control system? There is no need to use the control system. So the first and foremost thing in the control system is there is a well defined process, and you can understand the process is just like you have to control the outlet temperature of the continuous state tank reactor. It's a very easy thing. You all know about this particular thing. It's a very easy process. So if you want to control the outlet temperature of the continuous state tank reactor, then what are the things that you can do? Second thing is that the controller is very, the key element for the control system, because controller will give the signal to the final control element to check to control the abnormality that had occurred in the control system. So it will play a very important role in our control system. Okay, now the final control element will get the signal from the controller, and it will try to rectify, or it will try to compensate or reduce the abnormality that had occurred in the process. Just like if you want to maintain the desired temperature of 120 degrees centigrade outlet temperature in the continuous STR tank reactor. Now, due to an exothermic reaction which is taking place inside the CSTR, and the reaction will get increased. Due to this reaction, the heat will get evolved, and the reaction temperature will increase to 130 degrees centigrade. Now, what will happen? There is a difference of 10 degrees centigrade in the outlet temperature and our desired temperature and the reactor temperature. Then what the controller will give the signal to the final control element to reduce the temperature by any means. I will tell you later on which types of things. Either they will increase the coolant flow rate, or that will increase the or decrease the molar flow rate of the inlet of the reactant. They can do anything. That depends on the situation, which of the process variable that is required to decrease the temperature. But after getting the signal from the controller, the final control element reacts accordingly. Okay. Now the measuring instrument. What is the thing of measure? What is the work of measuring instrument? Try to understand. If you will see the temperature inside the reactor, CSTR. So there must be an instrument that will measure the temperature continuously, so that we can understand, or we can get the deviation in the temperature which we required. So the measuring instrument continuously will give the reading of the temperature inside the CSTR, so that we can alleviate the problem. Now, I think you have got the basic idea of which types of thing that is going to take place inside the CSTR. So I am going to give you the process diagram for this particular control system, so that you can understand which will be the controller, how controller will be working, how controller will be giving the signal to the final control element to control the temperature. So understand one thing: if this is CSTR, now what will happen? There must be an inlet of the reactant, Wi and Ti. This will be going to enter inside the CSTR. Now what will happen? There must be a temperature inside the reactor. Now what will happen? There will be a measuring instrument. This will be a measuring instrument, and what will happen? It will give the signal to controller. It will give the signal to controller. Now controller has got the signal. Now what will happen? Here, this is the final control element. This is our final control element. Now controller will give the signal to our final control element. Okay. Now understand one thing. Now what will happen here? The final control element here. If this is our temperature of measuring instrument Tm, we have measured this temperature inside the reactor. Now what will happen? Our desired temperature is Tr. Just suppose this is Tr. It is our desired temperature. Means we have to maintain the Tr temperature inside the reactor. Okay. But we have got a temperature Tm. Just here again I am writing Tm. But I have to make this Tm to Tr. Now what will happen? The controller gives the signal to the final control element, and in the form of error. There is an error, and that error is equals to Tr minus Tm. Means controller will give the signal there has an occurred an error inside the reactor, and that error is equals to Tr minus Tm. And now the final control element try to alleviate these things, to make the error is equals to 0. If the error will tending to 0, try to understand, then what will happen? Tr is equals to Tm, and our that is our M, so that there won't be any deviation inside the reactor. So this is our basic things that we need to understand. Now if you will see, this is our process. This is our process. Now this is our final this is our measuring instrument. This is our controller, and this is our final control element. So these four component will act accordingly if the process has got any disturbance. the process has got any disturbance, and the process in the process the measuring instrument will measure the deviation, will measure the process variable that we have to control. This will give the signal to the controller, and the controller will give the signal or in the form of error to the final control element to act accordingly to reduce the error or to alleviate the problem that had occurred. Now understand one thing: how will we draw the block diagram of this particular thing? That's the major concern here. I am going to draw the block diagram of this particular process. If you will see, just understand one thing, it's very easy thing. This is a comparator. I will tell you later on everything, which types of, why we are drawing these things, especially. Now understand one thing. This is our controller. This is our final. This is our final control element. This is our process, and this is our measuring instrument. Now understand one thing, my dear student. This is basic block diagram that you have to keep in your mind. Now understand one thing. Our process was like that. This was a temperature Ti, means this is our load. This is our load, means we are giving a load Ti of temperature inside the reactor. So here we have to place the load. It will be Ti, and this is our load. Now understand one thing. This is our T temperature that we have to maintain the temperature T inside the reactor. So it is our desired or controlled variable. What is the control variable? The variable we are going to keep inside the reactor or at a particular condition. Now this will be a measured temperature. That measuring instrument will measure the temperature inside the process, that is equals to Tm. So Tm will come here. Now we have set the temperature Tr. That is our desired variable. Tr, we have to maintain the desired temperature. Now here this is plus, this is minus. This is negative feedback system. I will tell you later on. Just try to understand one thing. Here it will send the comparator. It is called as the comparator. Why? Because there are two values that is going to be compared here. So E is equals to Tr minus Tm. Why? Because Tr is our desired temperature that I have already discussed earlier, and Tm is our measure variable. Now, if you will see, there is an error of Tr minus Tm, and this is going to enter into the controller. Now controller will give the signal to the final control element. Now controller will give the signal to the final control element here, and finally the final control element try to alleviate the problem, and it will try to make the temperature Tr is equal to Tm, that is our desired temperature and control temperature. Now this was the thing that you have to keep in your mind. Now understand one thing. Here that is our, this is called as our feedback control system. Why? Because if you will see in this block diagram, then you will be able to understand this value, that is the control variable, that is going to be compared at our desired point. So if there is any comparison, if our control variable is going to be compared at a particular point, then it is called as the feedback control system. In feedback control system, my dear student, if you will see here, the control variable is get compared to the desired variable. Now if you will see how to solve this particular problem, so try to understand. If I am just going to assume the transfer function of the controller is GP, the transfer function of final control element is GF, and the transfer function of our process is GPC. Here you can say GC and here it is GP. Okay. And here the transfer function of our measuring instrument is GM. And here that is TR, that is our desired variable, and set point, it is called as the set point. It is called as the set point. This is the basic thing that you have to keep in your mind, and this is our load. So generally, if you will see, then in feedback control system, you will see there are two types of problem. There are two types of problem. First problem, my dear student, that occurs is servo problem. And second problem, that is equals to regulatory problem. There are two types of problem that you will see in the feedback control system. First is servo problem, second is regulatory problem. Now understand one thing. First, each and everything that we have to understand is servo problem. First is our servo problem. In servo problem, I have discussed this is our set point. Here we are going to set the value that we have to, that is the desired value, and this is our load. This is our load that will affect the system from the outside. Now, in servo problem, there is no any change in load. First, you can define the servo problem. No change in load. Only there is a change in what? Only there is a change in only change in you can write set point. Only change in set point means here only we are going to change this particular point. We are not going to affect the load only. Okay. Now where we can use the servo problem, it's a very important thing my dear student, to calculate the reactor temperature. Just like I have discussed about the continuous state tank reactor. If you have to control the reactor temperature, then we have to change any set point. That will come in the problem of servo problem. Second, tracking of missile or aircraft or any moving target, just like in the case of missile or aircraft or any moving target at the time of war, these types of control systems that can be used in the that process. Second is regulatory problem. What is the regulatory problem? Here, no change in set point. Only there is a change in load. Only there is change in load. I think the basic difference between servo and regulatory problem is clear to all of you. Now, how will you use in the numerical? Because GATE is not going to ask the theoretical thing. Only GATE will be asking the numerical thing on this particular concept. So, if you will see, in case of servo problem, I am now going to discuss about the servo problem. What I have told you, only we are going to change in set point. Only there is change in set point, my dear friend. Now, if the process is like that, if this is the controller, if this is the final control element GF, and if this is our process, and if this is our measuring instrument transfer function, that will be given. You don't need to focus here. This is our set point. This is our set point, and this is our load. So in case of servo problem, you have to make the load 0. So if you are going to make the load 0, here I am assuming is x, and here I am our output is y. Now what you can understand from here, if you want to write the transfer function y upon x, how you can write? You can write it in this way, that is our ultimate goal. You can write this is our feedback control system, and this is our negative feedback control system. Just try to understand only in negative feedback control system what will happen here. Whatever the error that we are getting, that will be equal to the subtraction of our set point minus measured value. So in case of negative feedback system, feedback system, their error is equals to t set point minus, or generally I am going to take the process variable is temperature. The process variable can be anything, but here I am assuming is T, temperature. Okay, T set point minus T measured value. So if there is a negative sign here, if your error is going to be compared in the form of subtraction, then it will be called as the negative feedback system. Okay, so here if you can write the overall control system, means the transfer function of this process, that is equals to y upon x, that is equals to the transfer function of forward upon transfer function of backward. So GC, GF, GP, that is forward path. This is called as, my dear student, forward path. Forward path upon 1 plus overall GP, GC, GF, GM. If you are going to open this loop, and you have to multiply all the transfer function here, and you have to substitute here. So this is the transfer function of this closed loop system. This is transfer function of closed loop system. Okay, if if in examination they are asking about calculate the transfer function of closed loop system, then what you need to do, you have to calculate the forward path transfer function upon this. You can call, you can say it is a forward path This is forward path transfer function upon 1 plus GPGCGM. It is open loop transfer function. This is called open loop transfer function. Why? Because if you will open the loop, then what will happen? You are going to multiply GPGCGFGM. It's a total transfer function in the open loop. That's why it is called as open loop transfer function. And the term in the numerator, that is called as the forward path transfer function. Okay. So you need to focus here. Now in this case, what is happening, if you are solving the question on the basis of servo problem, on the basis of servo problem, then here x is your set point, here x is your set point, x is your set point. Here if you are giving a step input, ramp input or sinusoidal input, then you are going to change only in the set point. That's why it will come in the category of the servo problem. it will come in the category of servo problem. I think it's very clear to all of you why we are going to call it as servo problem, because we are going to only change in the set point. There is not any change in the load. That's why we are calling this process as a, this process will come in the category of the servo problem. Now, in case of load, if in case of load, how we are going to apply this process? Understand? If this is our process, this is our controller GC, this is our measuring instrument, sorry, final control element GF, and this is our process GP. We'll tell you later on which types of first order system, second order system will be there. But here right now you have to understand the basic things. This is our GM measuring instrument. Now here it is our X. I am assuming it is set point, and here it is our just wait a minute. So if you will see here it is P. I am assuming it is P, and here it is Y. What is P? P is our load. So if you want to write the overall transfer function, then you can write here it is X. So you can write Y, that is equals to GC GF GP upon 1 plus GP GC GF GM into X. Most of the students do the mistake here. I am writing the overall transfer function including the set point as well as load, plus what GP upon 1 plus GP GC GF GM into P. So this will be overall transfer function of this process. Overall transfer function, if you want to write the overall transfer function including this set point X and this P is load. This P is load. And this X you can call it as a set point. Now understand the what is the difference actually here is, if you want to apply the servo problem, if you want to apply the servo problem, then this term will 0, because I have told you earlier the load will be 0. Then the value of Y by X that you have to do is GC GF GP upon 1 plus GPGC GFGM. This is our, this will come in the category of servo problem. Now, if you will see, in case of regulatory problem, what you need to focus is you have to make the set point 0. That I have told you earlier. If you will make the set point is 0 here, then what will happen? This term will become 0. Only you will get Y is equals to GP upon 1 plus GPGC GF into GM into P. So Y upon P, that is equals to GP upon 1 plus GPGC GFGM. So my dear student, from here you can differentiate very easily which types of problem will come in the category of servo problem and which types of problem will come in the category of the regulatory problem. In the next lecture, I will be telling you how we are going to solve, how we will be solving the numerical on the basis of servo problem. If we are going to change in a step change or impulse input in the set point or the in the load. Okay. So thanks to all of you in this lecture today. Okay. Thank you.